Hi-ho, it's me again. You might have missed me, but I've certainly missed this. I remember that trailer like it was yesterday, sitting inside my high school, being a sophomore, and suddenly seeing this trailer on my phone. When I first saw it back then, I was losing my shit! A new Freedom Planet! Fuck yeah! And they've got all new designs, and this lick is the sickest fucking thing there ever was! That was then, and my mind was caught up in science homework, Smash 4, and waiting for BlazBlue Central Fiction to come out, which, funnily enough, had a trailer come out around the same time, 2015. Getting hit with all this shit that I loved at my very core, and seeing that they were getting new things, new additions, and big changes. BlazBlue was getting new characters, and as of writing this, the final chapter of its story. But Freedom Planet wasn't just gonna be some small-time gig that got a port on the Wii U after getting delayed for too fucking long. It was gonna be bigger. It was gonna start hitting hard. And years went, and went, and went. The sample dropped in 2017, but BlazBlue Central Fiction 2.0 also dropped in 2017. The years kept going. I heard so little and so few of Freedom Planet 2 that it all felt like faint glimmers in my mind. The exhaustion of Freedom Planet 1 still fresh in my heart. Was there ever going to be a sequel? Did it ever happen? Did I miss it? Did it die? Years pass on, I play new things, obsess over different games and characters, but still, somewhere I was holding out for this project to work, for it to be real. High school passes on, and I hear nothing of it. College passes on, and I hear nothing of it, until I finish my semester, and all my friends tell me that Freedom Planet 2 was dropping this year on the 13th of September. Mind you, I only heard this days before it was going to be released. But it was finally here! The game I waited for so long to play, to experience, and to fall back in love with! Why wasn't I excited? I should be screaming up and down the goddamn room proclaiming, "It's not dead! It's not dead! I can play Mila again!" But it wasn't like that. It was like silent apprehension. It's kind of like what I felt with, like, Kingdom Hearts 3. It's a game I waited for so fucking long to have my hands on, but, like, I didn't feel anything. Was I about to just drop Freedom Planet 2 and go play something new, like Devil May Cry 5 at the time? I was unsure. I was scared. This game just appeared into my library. Nothing. And I'm terrified. I can tell you one thing, though. On that fateful day, on that fateful 12-hour stream, it wasn't like that at all. I got that shit immediately. Apprehension and tension was in my existence. I can tell you that much. I was scared. But I played it, I did a Mila playthrough, and I loved every goddamn minute of it. Freedom Planet was back, and it was better than I'd ever hoped for! The dream never died! It rose above and soared into this fucking stratosphere! Alright, I'm gonna talk about their story, and it's now split between 4 characters! So be ready for a lot of switching and placing, cause here's how Freedom Planet 2 works. Every character plays through the same 24 stages, but here's the catch. Dialogue changes between characters, so it ends up being the one character that has a bigger amount of dialogue that matters a lot to the exchange than the other 3.
I've heard about fossil fuels, but this is ridiculous.
Shut your fucking mouth! So I've laid out before you nerds a chart of who gets what stages and who is relevant where. The game is good about showing you who belongs where, as some characters will appear later, like with Carol and Airship Seguata, or you'll just catch them at the tail end of their conversation in the cutscene, like with Lilac and Gravity Bubble. This is how I'll be handling the story. You don't need to do 4 playthroughs to get the whole story. At most, you need to do maybe 2. A character of your choice, and Lilac. Why Lilac? You'll see why if you either play the game or sit through this video. Regardless, seeing that people are playing this game would make me very, very happy. Also, say anything about Sonic and I will kill you right where you fucking stand. Same rules apply from the last video. No whack-ass video game comparisons. Please bear with me as I take you on this long-winded adventure that I will try not to scream about while filling you in on things. The game starts off fucking ballin' with a bot plowing through Dragon Valley with your character of choice responding to the situation at hand. It's primarily Lilac and Carol who are here worrying about what's going on, though. Okay, hold up. I need to talk about Dragon Valley because this fucking track just screams. It screams that this is the beginning of a new adventure, but to me, and maybe to a number of you, it's a proud proclamation of we ain't dead, we're just getting started, and just... fuck, man. Lilac and Carol chase down the bot, and goddamn, Dragon Valley has seen some life to it. It's so lush and vibrant. It feels like the jungle from the second half of 1 began to take over, and it's beautiful. There's also some rest stops. There's absolutely been people here besides Lilac and Carol just being the bestest friends in the whole world. 3 years has done a lot for this place. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that this game is a 3-year time skip, so a lot has changed since the events of Brevin's invasion. 3 years hasn't stopped the duel one bit as they managed to slam the bot that's been thrashing the forest mid-stage, but not before some other mech just appears and thrashes the treehouse and fucks off like nothing ever happened. Then a small spat between the two happens like they're a married couple, but the spat is justified as it appears that there have been robot attacks all over lately, and it's really wearing on Lilac and Carol. Carol thinks to turn to Mila and Lilac is hesitant, but they end up scurrying over to the best dog anyways, and... goddamn, she really do be a mess of a person, like me, for real, for real. Mila has become a huge dork, and god am I here for it. All of it.
Our house was destroyed by this giant robot, and we need a place to stay while we fix up
I brought snacks! Please, come right in. Mi laboratorio es tu laboratorio.
She's also upped her alchemy game, apparently. Or her science game, in general. Before any kind of best buddy reunion can happen, Mira exists to essentially grab the 3 by their ears and bring them over to Shang 2 to talk to the Magister. Mira...
it would be unwise of you to refuse.
still has a massive stick up her ass, but hey, she's playable. So now let's see what she has. I should probably mention this now before I do so much later. Freedom Planet 2 introduces hub areas, and they're a real nice break from the action. They allow this whole world to come alive with unique NPCs in each area that have things to say. Everyone has something to say about something, and in some cases, could fill you in on certain characters, events about the world, or even game mechanics. Keep an eye out for those light bulbs. That means they've got something new to say. Check in with the world, and you'll probably end up getting things back in return. I'll try to bring up any info from these hubs if they're at all relevant to what's going to be happening in the story, as to not bloat this section more than it's already going to be. With the ear-tugging from Mama Nira, she tells the game to be on their best behavior. The game now has post-stage dialogue at times, so the story has much more room to breathe as the commotion is settled in. Knowing the Goober Gang, they're gonna head on over to Shang-Tu via Shenlin Park, and are given these little communicators to keep in touch with each other throughout their runs.
Hard fun, buddy. That's completely right, but cool.
Oh, wow!
Hi, Mila.
Speaking of the communicators, there's now mid-stage dialogue, and I really appreciate it. It makes the game feel that much more alive and active. Sometimes they change depending on the character you're playing as.
This is crazy awesome! Beep, boop, boop, boop.
Stop that immediately.
For the most part, it's just changing the voices and removing the filter. Another thing I should mention about this game before heading off into saying things about it all. These stages are a lot more active. You not only got gimmicks out the wazoo, but now you've got bosses making their prominent appearance throughout the stages by the latter half. This is a thing for pretty much every stage in the game, so either keep an eye out for those details, or watch as this game fucking breathes in your general direction. Regardless of who you're playing, big old Birdbot gets its ticket fucking punched, and Carol becomes more Carol than ever before.
Did you guys see my sweet moves back there? That guy was like, roar, and I was all like, wha-bam! And he was like, oh god, not the face! Oh, sorry. I think I was in a different part of the city. But, wha-bam! Alright, yeah!
The power of a time skip, they're letting Carol free. We're fucked. Team Lilac make their way over to Shang-Tu and see how much of the city became, well, a city. And not just a room in a prison cell. The Magister called in the Scarred Sisters in order to bring attention to the frequency of attacks and how they're connected in some way. So he called up the three who saved Avalis in order to counteract these attacks. Carol, as usual, dreams, but Mila actually shuts her down on this one.
Wads of cash? A statue of yours truly? A solid gold motorbike? I think the motor would melt a solid gold bike. Wow. Way to crush my hopes and dreams into dust, Mila.
She's already too strong. Don't let her get even stronger. Shang-Tu is now a base of operations for the Gaggle Lagoons, plus one cop, and before leaving, your character of choice runs into Askel, and the greeting varies from whatever to children are fighting! Then, after that, it's time to either explore the city, talk to your homies, check in with Mila, who actually made her feather potion! Never using it, though. Good on you regardless, though, Mila. Once you leave, you're given a choice. Pick your stage set. Now, the game does this twice, and you can select whatever stage set you see fit in whatever order you see fit. You have to finish them all in order to beat the game, but you can customize your route if you so choose. We're gonna be going sequentially here, so... In this set of stages, we're dealing with an attack on the Avian Museum and the theft of the robot of the last game that Lilac found that is now named Pangu. How cute. Pangu's got the data goods, and ain't nobody gonna get past Team Lilac and a relic of the past. Time to get into that museum, and it's getting thrashed! Giant blocks coming in from the fucking background to squash your ass, and there's even the 80s PTS! Hey, there's a park bench here. That's pretty neat. You can even sit down in it. After surviving getting blocked on, the one behind the thrashing of the museum is the Monkey Marine! The treehouse market is in shambles, and Lilac is here to put a down payment on your life! Hope your liver is a suitable currency, you unknown fuck! Oh, it's a child. Why is there a child here?
Woohoo!
Dear God. They're into science.
And use it right from the control pad! And it had a flash mount, and a high data IR encoder, and a microsensor audio and wide angle reception, and a bicolor light too! And I can even use it in the sun because usually IR interference is unbearable!
What just happened?
Honest to God question, does anyone know what this kid's talking about? Does it even make sense? Oh yeah, his name is Ah, for reasons that will be very apparent. Hi, Peacock! Once Ah just rants himself to sleep and the only person understanding him is Mila, it's all considered a mission well done until Nira does some vocal ear rendering. Time to catch an airship and see who's really behind the bot-napping of Pangu. Hey, remember Sky Battalion? Yeah, this is that but on crack, and with a lot more happening. Funny thing too, this is also stage 4. Kinda cute, isn't it? Should also probably mention this going forward, but a good amount of stages not only rock a whole shit ton of action, but there's usually a simple puzzle section, whether it be pulling switches or knocking shit into place. The game's gonna stop you for a second to make sure you're still alive in that old juicy think tank. God, Grandma's kisses! After solving puzzles and smashing birds, Godspeed, you magnificent bastard, Carol runs into Ah again, and another Ah fight's about to break out.
Throttle back, Tiger. Let's see what you've caught.
But, as it turns out, Carrot was a fashionable sister with a cool coat and a gun. Corazon, or Cory for short, is stealing Pengu back for Perusa? Don't know what a Perusa is, but it sounds nice. Before Carol can...
Please, don't make me break out the puns.
You wouldn't fucking dare. The homies come in and Cory makes her great getaway. The goobers get tricked by a plush that I'd buy in a heartbeat, but manage to get Pengu back, so mission accomplished. But Carol has to now deal with her sister being a Shangtujian terrorist. Back at the palace, they're now keeping Pengu in the main chamber where she'll be safe. Also, Carol tries to be Carol.
Now turn into a dragon!
Invalid command.
That function was also taken out of Pengu once she became a museum prop. Hey, wanna see something funny? You can do this with Pengu.
Yeah!
On to the next set, the Battlesphere, and it starts in the cheesiest way possible. Carol, in her infinite boredom, sees that the main control room's giant computer can be used as a TV, and what she gets is a wrestling-style promo for the Battlesphere, where you can win grand prizes and face the glorious and splendiferous Captain Kalau! This gets Carol en route to the Battlesphere, because she really can't help herself when it comes to doing fun shit. And I mean, come on. Look at that promo. You would also go there. You know you would. Don't lie to me. By the time Carol is done with Phoenix Highway, Lilac and everyone else are wondering where she is. And the fucked up part is, she gave Mila the excuse that she left for Shangmu to get ice cream. Lilac does as Flower do and call up the homie to get the situation, and Carol does as Carol do.
Gonna fight, gonna get me some grand prizes!
Whoa, what now? What about, you know, our missions from the Magister?
Can't talk, robot smashy time!
Mira's gonna kill us.
The gang get a whiff of that there 90s cheese, and Nira is justifiably pissed. But this gives them a chance to snag some promising talent for the fight against the bots. Kalau is base, but if they beat him at his own game, he'll have to listen, right? Mila, being the relatable dork that she is, gets to thinking of a stage name and gimmick, and I love it. Nira gets settled along, and it's off to hunt Carol down. These next two stages are just... oh boy! Zhao really did turn that already lively city into a fucking summer paradise full of incomplete roads, murderous traffic lights, and a Ferris wheel where he sees you no matter where you go. Zhao is watching. Zhao is always aware. Escape is a condemnation of the mass, and you will enjoy your Zhao-sponsored content. Don't let your gremlin leaders walk free. They will catch your wallet. So I have a Kofa. Zhaoland kind of deserves a little bit of talk considering that Zhao made an amusement park, and it is colorful as hell. It's even got some little games and gimmicks in the middle of the stage. You can tell there was a lot of fun to be had when making this, because goddamn, I'm never against being here. Bro, they've even got the 90s Taco Bell aesthetic! Sick, I love baseball. Wait, what the fuck? Phoenix Highway and Zhaoland are finished, and the Magi Squad catches up to Carol at the Battlesphere to party up and clear this raid. Alright gamers, I'm queuing up for tank. Do we have a healer? Also, if you're Lilac, she has some character-specific dialogue here with some of the locals. Oh, fuck. there's also an arcade cabinet here to actually play, and it's an 80s game? And fuck the 80s, we're in the 90s! We're gonna take that elevator all the way up to the sphere! Here's where the game sets you on some challenges. Races, bot bashing, and some friend smashing! Now, for dialogue's sake, Mira wins this, and gets to see Kalau. As the record goes, she tried to get him on the side of Shang 2 before, and this is her chance to really get him. And how do you do it? A fucking race. It's literally a race, no matter who you play. Even with Aline, the Master Marauder! With the defeat of Kalau, this gives Nero the chance to recruit him to the side of Shang 2 to fight against the invasion. Now, on to that grand prize from the greedy bastard himself, and it's...
Your reward is... coupons for you and 5 of your friends to dine at City Hall in glorious downtown Shangmu.
Yay! Well, after that blunder, it seems like there's only one last place to be, and it's Shuigang. Let's see what's up with Dale and his home after 3 years. Turns out that there's a thief around Shuigang stealing weapons, and it's up to the Goobers to waddle through Tiger Falls to make their way on over to Shuigang in the first place. Once they manage to make their way over to Shuigang and talk to Dale, who's rather surprised at the technology and how fast you got there, Dale relays that there's been a thief going around stealing weapons, and how he's not insane. Mira essentially calls it like she sees it, and basically says, "You sure your people aren't fooling you?" Questioning out of the way, we're given a direction and a goal. Head north and spot out whatever the fuck is going on down there. Before leaving, Ascal makes his appearance, being sent by the Magister along with Mila, who will be tagging in for this whole shebang. First stop, the robot graveyard. Huh, it's really a scrap heap out here. Bunch of broken parts and remains of the dreadnought that fell apart years ago. Remnants of what once was, and it looks like they're trying to clean it all up, with magnets and crushers being littered all over the place. And it's kind of an over-glorified dump now. Wait a minute, it's getting scrappier here. Oh, Private Bots is still here!
No! Is this where all the attacks have been coming from?
What are they?
They're bad. Very, very bad.
They're just zombies. They even have bread and sound bites if you listen close enough. Everyone except Mira responds violently to these bots, and the link of who's calling these attacks seems to be clearing up, but there's still room to think about it. Not only are soldiers with the rubble, Syntax is here and asks for identification. This goes as well as you can expect.
Please state your identity.
I'm Mila. I come in peace.
I'm sorry, I did not understand.
I'm Mila. I come in peace.
Did you mean intruder?
No, absolutely not. Please don't send any guard robots. Oh dear.
Syntax tries to kill you, but Mila is based, yada yada, and before you can get crunched, Ascal makes the save for me.
Move it!
Thanks, Ascal. I was almost a Mila sandwich.
I love this dog, and Ascal can't stand being with a child. Real loving the Magister and his choices right now, innit? Mila alerts the other gal pals to the situation, and Lilac gets traumatized, and Mira keeps a level head of the situation. Lilac confides and offers Mila an out if needed, and God bless, man. Lilac is making strides out here, being the bigger sister her best friends need. 3 years really do a lot for you, don't they?
It's okay.
Ever deeper and ever onwards into Shade Armory, where the bots are hiding and thriving in full force. This is one of the bigger and more winding stages in the game. Shitloads of scrap, saw blades, undead Brevin troops hiding around every corner, Syntax teleporting and being a goddamn nuisance. I mean, you can ignore her depending on who you're playing, if you get your jumps right, or just fly. Once you make your way through it all, it's another encounter with Syntax, and once the bot is thrashed, it's time to take it home, and... Wait, why is there another stage in this set?
Where do you think you're going?
Oh, fuck me, it's Serpentine. And it's not Lilac who he has a bone to pick with this time, it's Mila. This entire engagement is not only so Serp can get Syntax back for Lord Brevin, but also give her the truth on what she is.
The one whom we both serve with unquestioning loyalty, Lord Brevin!
A Brevin war dog. With what I've been through, this checks out. She starts out in Freedom Planet 1 with mysterious block powers, in a sewer, and sure, that's because she was getting ingredients for her potion, but who's to say there isn't something behind it? Repressed memories? Trauma? Possibly snatched and her memory was wiped clean from wherever she might have been? Things to think about with Mila. She was also with Serpentine and getting transformed by Brevin, so there is a connection here between the two. Back to the deal at hand, Mila denies Serp, but he gives her a chance to finally see her mom and dad, and this...
Say, would you like to see them? Join me, and together we will leave this miserable planet and reunite with our master! And I'm sure your parents would love to see you again.
Gets to Mila. But as Serpentine does, he forces himself through the situation and a fight breaks out. It plays out akin to his first few fights in Freedom Planet 1. Gun, dash, gun, but with like one new move and that's it. Wait, hold on, Serp's gonna get a phase 2 like he usually does. Oh fuck, he's... And it's akin to his first phase, but a lot more mobile, and with a last-ditch cry to finish the job with...
No! Die! Die! Die!
God damn, that was desperation and bloodlust. He gets fucking shot off into God knows where. I know where. With his defeat, Mila brings Syntax over to Dale and relays the information of the situation with Lilac in tow.
I'm just glad to hear that Brevin's not back. I came running as soon as I heard.
Father. Wait, that robot thing is his dad?
No. His father, the previous king,
I wasn't strong enough.
No, you weren't. There was nothing you could have done differently. But look at you now. You are the king of Shuigong. Your people look to you for guidance and leadership. You've only grown stronger since that day, Your Majesty. And you do your father's memory proud.
My people and I will take over from here. If the monster has truly returned, you will be the first to know.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Once the gang make their way back to Shang-Tu, it appears that Shang-Mu's under attack, and Mayor Zhao is being held captive by robots. However, a call from the mayor is being brought to them, and it's ransom at the core. Ransom and an entrance.
Magister, how I've longed to see that look in your eyes.
Is that a water dragon?
That's impossible. What trickery is this?
No trickery at all, Magister. Such deception would be the purview of your grandfather, not I.
She set her sights on Lilac, and Lilac tries to step up, but one sentence.
I don't know who you are, but I'm going to make sure you don't hurt anyone else. This land is protected.
Hatchling, have you ever wondered what happened to all of the water dragons?
Makes her step down. The water dragon wants answers and justice, but for right now, she's presenting her plans to the room.
This is Bakunawa. Magnificent, is she not?
Bakunawa, a giant ship thing, is the glint in her eye, and the key she needs is Pengu. Bring Pengu and keep the mayor alive, or leave Pengu in your hands, and watch as Shang-Mu crumbles without its beloved ruler.
See you soon.
An ultimatum. With the ultimatum in tow, the Master remarks about who that was. A bloodthirsty savage who was bred for battle and a key player in the war centuries ago.
Murga.
Knowing the name of the targeting question isn't enough, and the group wonders what she even needs Pengu for. However, things are starting to add up as Corazon was trying to steal Pengu, possibly in order to help her for an aim of some kind. Carol shoots that down immediately, knowing her sister, and Lilac wants to go after Murga. Wanting to know about her kind is absolutely racking her mind to something fierce. They plan to see if they can pull the wool over Murga's eyes and paint over Syntax, since they look the same. Incredibly fucking stupid plan, but hey, as long as it buys time, it should be fine. God knows I've done some dumb shit and managed to pull through. As if coming up like a gracious and judicious son, Captain Kalau calls up the Shang-Tu crew, and he gives them the directions they need to start heading for Mayor Zhao. Not before Kalau comments in syntax and the paint dripping.
Drone is dripping wet! This blue is not a judicious color.
Yeah, that label probably meant 20 to 24 hours, not minutes, huh?
Thanks, Carol. I should mention this track real quick, as probably many of us haven't really heard it for too long. This track lays the mood down heavy, but it also feels like something is coming. Like a reckoning awaiting its birth from the chaos that's about to ensue. Well, it's time to storm Globe Opera 1 and 2 in order to get Mayor Zhao and get him out of this shitty situation. And boy, are these stages bumping. Globe 1 is just a mad dash through the entrance and further into the opera with robots out the wazoo, and a flying mech that's just making things a lot harder. Got the best boss track in the game though, I'll give it that. Globe 2 is where it gets interesting, and not just because Kalau speaks in funny.
Show yourself, you pugilistic Physignathus! I, Captain Kalau, bring an offering of peace.
Huh. It's all dark in here. Alright, nerds, give me a second to just... Alright, so we've got the video back. Okay, now I just gotta do this. There we go! Fuck! Yeah, this is a long one, and it's going to be a long one on your first run-through. It was for me on my playthrough back on the 13th. You gotta start out with bringing power back to the inner opera house before proceeding and then trying to survive all the bombs, spinners, and PT. Oh yeah, before you can even think of reaching the boss of this stage, you have to go through 4 doors, which are essentially smaller versions of the stages you just went through. Only the Shang-Tu and Mu sets, not Shuigan. You think you know why they weren't included? I know why. But I think it's better that I let you think about it for a little bit longer. Alright. Choose your own stage progression and make your own route. You might even find some goodies!
Nice!
Clear the 4 of your choice, then you get to fight another boss bird. And it's not that hard at all. Jump when you're about to get railed by bullets, avoid getting shot, and also dodge into the bombs. Go on. Do it, pussy. You won't. Believe in your invincibility frames. Pussy. Another bot trashed, and it's time for the auditorium! Oh. Well, it's time to run on in and see what's up with there he is! Wait, there's the earbuster. And the conflicting kitty. And they're working for Murga. And speaking of tall, blue, and threatening... No, seriously, Murga's like 6'5". Jesus Christ. Zhao is back in our hands, but Murga, believe it or not, is smart and has half of a brain. Everything is against the group at this moment. Kalau turns on the group for crimes that can never be forgiven. Curry is working for Murga.
No, Carol. Believe it or not, I'm doing this for you.
For Carol. And is a child. I should mention that once you finish Corey's stage and the battlesphere, Murga was talking with them behind the scenes. Corey fills Murga in on the situation, but Corey's working for Murga to keep her family safe. And Kalau is working with Murga for reconnaissance, keeping an eye on the Shang-Tuxian fighters to gauge them. Something was brewing from the very beginning, and Murga was plotting. She's playing the long game, but for what? Answers? Justice? Wholesale revenge? Subjugation of the unclean? Ah doesn't get that luxury until later, and we found out he was swayed into working with Murga. Speaking of, the brat brings out a mech, and Kalau proclaims that you didn't really beat me. Yeah, sure, bud, that 0-2 really didn't count. Swear to God, you're the type to walk into a set and just because you got hit with some disgusting shit means it didn't happen. You fucking loser. This is a two-faced fight. I hope you learn how to dodge and call this man's out in his positioning, because that's what this first phase really is. He'll jump, he'll shoot, he'll jump, he'll shoot, and if you know where he's jumping and what spots he's in, it's really easy to just lay into that health bar. Just be a bit careful when you're blasting him, because those hitboxes on those balls are surprisingly big. little deceptive, if anything. Take down the Burna Lion! And watches the Murgy Wurgies transform into a fucking furry Gundam. Galaxy Trail? When is this model actually gonna be a thing? I know a few friends who'd probably kill for this! Actually, I just noticed this now, because I'm actually kind of stupid, if you can't tell. But you were fighting the others in the mechs. You fought first, then Corey, and now Kalau in the Lion mech. Probably reaching on this one, but I'm stupid and I don't use my eyes very well sometimes. The Gundam is one of the trickier fights at first, depending on who you are. But as Freedom Planet bosses go, get the pattern down and slaughter them with your bare hands. Just be careful of the charges. The hitbox is on the sword, so be sure to just dodge that as soon as you see that coming. The thruster is actually really painful. Please, position yourself very carefully or else you will end up as girl chunks. The stage raises aren't that bad. They're actually pretty easy to dodge. Just stand here on the first one, and then on the second one, just do what you did for the bombs. Just dodge into them. Thrash Gundam and the gang will manage to make their way out of the auditorium. Carol tries to be a good sister, but Mira exists.
No, don't mind me. I have this perfectly under control.
Oh, right. Ciao. Everything is going as well as grenades and bullets as nobody in Shang 2 is responding to Nira's calls. This was a trap, through and through. Murga knows battle. With Lilac being in the front, she's hoping and praying everything is alright, and well, it's not? Shenlin Park is under siege. Murga's troops are storming the place. Police cars are getting shot through walls. It's a war zone out there, and everything is falling apart at the very seams. Fighting against the dragon mech to continue is mandatory. You can't escape this fight, and once you clear it, you've still got to run up to the palace with a singular car ramming into you. Getting inside for Lilac, it's quiet, and Ascal is buried underneath some rubble, and Lilac does as Lilac do. Help people. Soon after, she finds Gong and Jesus Christ!
Traitor!
Ascal, stop! What are you doing?
The right thing. Magister, you stand accused of covering up the war crimes of your ancestors. How do you plead?
In this very moment, Ascal proceeds to make himself the judge, jury, and executioner in this situation. Murga filled his head, and his first call to action...
Time you had a taste of your own medicine. No!
Stop it!
Well, isn't that a surprise? I always figured you were older than me. Well, whatever. From now on, the world is gonna see you for what you really are. A war criminal.
He doesn't want the throne. He wants answers and reconciliation for the Magister's crimes. And he knows exactly who to bring in.
No.
You seem unhinged, Magister. Ah, yes. I can sense your anger, your seething hatred. But it is nothing. Amplified 1,000-fold, and still it would quiver against the raging typhoon within me. The Kingdom Stone is no more! The floodgates have opened. You shall welcome death!
No! I won't let you kill him!
Lilac's really grown. Lilac isn't going to back down from this fight, but Murga dawns one crippling truth on her.
The question I asked, but he dared not answer. What happened to all of the water dragons?
Shut up! I'm not listening to you!
They were murdered. All of them. Entire clans of water dragons wiped out. Also, his kind could lay claim to the world that we once called home.
This justifiably shakes Lilac. She doesn't know what to do, and she's in a bind between a man she once knew as a benevolent ruler and a ghost of a bygone era, seeking the head of an entire race to answer for his crimes. Lilac desperately wants there to be an alternative, but Murga, going through what she's gone through in the war with the Earth Dragons centuries ago, lays waste to that hope.
Never again. Earth dragons are schemers and liars!
The rest of the group appear, and Nira, out of the three, is the most wounded. Everything she's worked for and with is crumbling around her. And Ascal, of all people, someone who has been with her and the Shang-Tujian guards for a long time, has betrayed them.
Ascal, of all people, it was you?
Sorry you had to find out this way, Nira. I'll explain everything later, but right now, the Magister has to go.
I've already gone through the trouble of sparing one panda today. I don't intend to do so a second time.
The lives and ideals of this kingdom are but an extension of my own. I will not yield!
Amidst Nira's stand, Murga calls off her troops and decides to handle all 5 fighters herself. This is it. The fight against the Schemer and Destroyer, and she is not to be fucked with! Not only does she have a long health bar, but because this is not a fight you're supposed to win, you can, but you won't on your first go-about. Everyone else gets bagged in a singleton, except for you. This is a fight you either learn and get it into your system, or you just accept death. Murga's a tough bitch. She's got huge-ass hitboxes, punishing her is tricky depending on your character, and you shouldn't off-screen her. She refuses to be ignored, and she will hunt. She's a scarier Lilac, complete with a dragon dash and everything. Even if you manage to do some decent damage and get past her attacks, she's got dragon installed! This is where you either fight valiantly or die trying, because her moves get juiced. She rains down beams, her punishes get harder to sniff out, and she comes packed with a tracking shine. This isn't the peak of what Murga can do, but this is what she does when she's pushed. She lets it all out. Hey, if you do beat her, the game even commends you like she might have. Albeit in her tone, it'd be condescending as hell. Yo fucking shit! This was my first time beating her, and trust me, it took around 20-ish tries to get her down. Take your time, learn, and be ready to tackle it again. Don't give up. Regardless of your outcome, Murga's forces storm the palace and Pengu has been taken. This is a complete loss, while Nira wants to keep fighting to the bitter, bloody end.
We will not bow down to traitors!
Gong makes a save and gets everyone out of the main palace, and Ascal is about to finish the job and give chase, but Murga...
Let them go. We have what we came for.
On the outside, Nira lashes out, lamenting the failure of her and everyone around her for letting this happen.
Cowards! How could you all just run away?
Nira, while cold and stern, always steadfast in her duties, is able to be someone instead of a tool for justice.
It's my home.
It'll be okay, Lady Nira.
Forgive me.
We should get moving.
I should have known better than to trust again.
With her victory set in the stones and pavement of Shang-Tu, Murga proclaims that if everything goes well, the city won't be harmed. Single-minded in her revenge, but there's still a heart somewhere deep down in there. There's still someone inside that armor. Not a bloodthirsty ideal warrior. However, that will remain to be seen. Spade being Spade is spying in on the entire ordeal, and the main group, predominantly Gong, are lamenting the failure to the kingdom, while the Magister provides some ample pick-me-ups.
Fish at fault when it takes a fisherman's bait. Perhaps. But the fisherman's role should not be ignored.
While stirring up everyone's stomachs, and Lilac being resourceful as she is, remember that she's got the Gremlin tickets! And with it, a free meal at the City Hall, with Mayor Zhao. Arriving at Zhao's hall takes... some time? With the way that Zhao was acting, he's more than likely heard of the news that Murga brought. Either that, or he just doesn't want to get tangled into another scuffle. Regardless, he lets everyone inside and then starts coping about his Battlesphere champion. Everyone just wants a place to stay right now, and Zhao decides a library is a nice place to be, and so, into the halls of books they go. With this moment to themselves, Lilac seeks answers, and the Magister lays it all out.
Was any of that true?
Yes.
Why?
It was a different time. We were at war. We had no choice.
No choice? How was almost wiping out an entire race even a choice?
There are no good choices in war. There is only survival, and the means to achieve said survival. Surely someone of your upbringing would understand that.
Oh no! Don't you dare try and guilt trip me! I never killed anyone when I was in the Red Scarves!
And yet, did you not behave in a manner contrary to your true self simply because to do otherwise would invite the scorn of your peers? Did you not comfort yourself with the hopeless lie that you were a good person in spite of the crimes you committed? The sins you inflicted?
You don't know what you're talking about! You don't know anything!
Lilac runs off, and everyone caught what just went down, making the whole room tense and uneasy. Well, since we're in a library, we may as well do some required reading! This is where you can read up on a variety of things surrounding Avalis. The real nuggets of interest are all about the water dragons and the before time. Let's start with the most relevant pieces of info with the water dragons. Apparently their genetics take traits from both parents. Alright, that's interesting. Water dragons are indigenous to Avalis and were most favored by the Earth dragons, and their betrayal was a shocking blow to the Earth dragons. I'm sorry, am I reading a genocide sympathizer's writings and mad scrawlings on a race they wiped out? Sightings of these warmonger— Hello?! You know what? What does the Earth Dragon section look like? But it's all dick-sucking and coloring book pages in these pages. Oh, the before time tells the tale of before the Earth Dragons came to Avalis, and it doesn't tell me much outside of these space dicks bringing civilization to the world. Wait, constant bloodshed? Enlightened ways? None of this is Wait, inspired to put aside their differences. So there was a time of peace between the two? Wonder what that was all like. From what I can imagine, it was more short-lived than anything. And fuck reading, I'm gonna go eat. Eating is not going well. Well, except for Gong.
Here you are.
Murga is the key player in this entire ordeal, and now it's time for some answers on who she is.
So what do we know about Murga anyway? I mean, what else?
Murga comes from a time when Shang-Tu was at war with the island nation of Perusa. She was uncontrollable, laying waste to entire armies single-handedly. My ancestors were unable to end her, but they did devise a way to contain her. They sealed her and her destructive potential away with the power of the Kingdom Stone.
Remember those flashes? Yeah, those were from the beginning of the game, where as soon as that event happened, Murga was already being released. Lilac wants answers for the past. What happened? Who did what? Why Murga is the way she is, but due to genocides, they don't really have a means of talking. Zhao, on the other hand, says that the books are the way, and this inspires the Magister to actually do some required reading. See if he can't find something to help them learn something of the water dragons. Mila offers help, and Carol wants to talk things out with Corey to clear things up with her own sister, and—
What? Absolutely not. She's with them. That makes her our enemy.
She attacked us, Carol. She put you in danger.
Goes as well as you can imagine. Carol digs herself a bigger ditch by saying that she's a mercenary, and if they drop some fat stacks on Carol, she'd be able to talk her way out of it.
Everything you just said does not help your case in the slightest. A mercenary who would work for the highest bidder and change loyalties at the drop of a hat is inherently untrustworthy.
Carol goes from 3 feet under to at least 18 feet, and tries to remedy it with an airship, but Zhao has to open his mouth. Dinner has been officially soured. Carol is too set in her ways and sneaks out of Shangmu and manages to snag a flyer out into the tropical lands of Perusa, where she feels like her sister might be.